Okay, well, welcome to this little presentation on how we painted the Sandcastle Builders, which is a great little beach scene here, featuring a couple of kids building sandcastles, obviously, on the beach, and some seagulls and things flying around them. And in this video, I just want to do a little step-by-step, just to walk you through the steps that we would take in approaching a painting like this, so that you can get a guess the fundamentals that you need to start putting together your own paintings at home. So my name's Rod Moore from Moore Art School, and you can find us on the web there at www.mooreartschool.com. So let's have a look at this little painting now. The starting point with this painting, and what I've done, I've taken a series of step-by-step photos. The starting point, I'm painting on a canvas that's about 16 by 20 inches, or 30 by 40 centimeters. And I started out, I had a little reference photo, which you'll see that in a moment. And I started out by just drawing in the shapes of the two children, and the bucket and the horizon line there, just so I could make sure that I could cut around them with the background, to get their shape right. So just a very quick pencil sketch there. And what you can see is I've started to work into the horizon sky area, to create a nice warm glowing effect from the sun setting over the horizon. So I'm using yellow ochre and titanium white, a mix there, and just starting to work that in, and you can see I'm working it around the shape of the little boy there. Um, Progressing on, so you can see all across the horizon there, I've continued on with that sunlight color. Then I've gone up into the sky and I've used ultramarine blue and titanium white and just worked it into the sky. And as you can see, in the area here, I've created a bit of a blend, a transition between the sunlight effect and the blue of the sky. And at this stage, what you can see here is I've just liberally applied the paint on. It's fairly wet. I had a reasonable amount of terps in the mix, so it's a fairly sloppy sort of mixture at this stage. And as you can see, there's been no blending or anything like that. The corners up in the top left hand and right hand side, I always like to get those darker to draw the eye into the center of the painting here. So you know, just really putting the paint on there. In the next step, you can see I've softened it right out by blending. And what I use is I use a watercolor mop brush, but I use it for soft blending. And if you're having trouble with your blendings to get a nice soft effect, then give that a try. Go and get a watercolor brush, and one of the big heavy mop brushes, and just use that for soft blending, and you'll find that works a treat. So now we've got this nice sort of sunlight glowing effect. The children are sort of silhouetted, or will be when they're blocked in against this sunlight effect. I've blocked in this sort of cliff face here, this headlands, I guess, and I've just used burnt umber pretty much straight with some terps, so you can see it's a little bit thin there, to put that in. Now the important thing with this is keep your edges raggedy, don't make straight lines. That's probably a little bit too straight in that section there, but keep them random and raggedy, because that's the way nature is. You never see perfectly formed straight lines in rocks at the beach, for instance, unless they've been worn smooth over years. I've started to work in the water. Now, there's not a lot of emphasis on the water here, but we're using ultramarine blue, so the same colours, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and maybe just a little pinhead of alizarin crimson has gone in there just to darken it up a little bit. Now, this is one of the keys, is to create colour harmony through your painting, is to use the same couple of colours and everything. So in the bucket here, it's ultramarine blue with titanium white. Then I've come down to the sand, and it's yellow ochre, titanium white. And as I've got into the foreground here, I've darkened it with just a touch of the burnt umber. So we're creating that colour harmony throughout each of the elements here. The sky, the cliff face, the water, the sand are all connected because we're using the same palette, very limited palette of colours that we're using. Now, in this shot here, it's a little bit blurry, but I just want to show you my working approach. So I have my canvas on my easel there, and my reference photo, it's just slipped down a little bit, but I usually have it reference photo taped just above where I'm working. So you can see the two children. The rest of it, I don't really need a reference photo for the sky, the rocks, and the sandy area. So it's really just these two children that I wanted to get the reference photo for. Now you can see that in this photo I've started to actually block in the darks of their skin. And let's have a look at that in the next shot there. That's a much better shot for you. So I've blocked in the darks of the skin on the back. So the light's coming from the right hand side, and the other side therefore is in shadow. Now for this I've used I think I've used cadmium red, yellow ochre, and some titanium white, and probably just a little pinhead of the burnt umber, just to darken it up a little bit. So that gives us our shadow colours, and I've started to block in the sandcastle using burnt umber and yellow ochre, so a combination of those two. And you can see I've got dark on the left-hand side and light on the right-hand side where the sunlight would be coming in. Now, progressing it even further, I've now put in the lights on the skin tone. So same mix, but just a little bit more titanium white just to lighten it right off. And I've started to block in their bathers, so the little boy's in the red, and the girl I've put her in an orange bathing suit, and you can see it's darker in the darks and lighter on the outside there. So just working our way through it, just step by step. Progressing it even further, notice over on the rocks here I've now started to use some, I've given it a bit of time to dry off, using some yellow ochre to create some highlight effects. I don't want too much detail over here though, because I don't want the eye to be drawn there, but just to to not leave it just one big mass of colour, I'll put in some highlight colours there. And with the children I've started to work in their hair here. I put in some, after I've allowed the sand to dry a bit, I've put in some more of the sky colour into here to create the illusion or the effect of water having been trapped up on the sand. So they're up on like a bit of a sandbar here. Maybe the tide's going out. Start to block in their hair. A little bit more highlight on the sand dunes. Sorry, the sand dune, the sand castle. Notice also I've picked up some of the yellow from the sand, and I'm working it up into his bathers because of the reflected light. Okay, so you're going to pick up a little bit of that colour coming up into into their clothing from the reflected light. If the sun's sort of bouncing off the sand and it's reflecting back up into them just a little bit, you don't need a lot, but just a little bit will really help to enhance the overall painting. And here we're moving towards a much more finished effect. You can see I've put in some pebbles. These are just little dots using burnt umber primarily. So just put those around, especially around the waterline here. And then you can use some yellow ochre and titanium white to put some highlights on some of the rocks. The seagulls I painted in just from some reference photos, but essentially they're just, the greys are the ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, little touch of the burnt umber, and the white is titanium white, obviously. Put in these two here, and the little reflections. You don't need a lot of detail with the reflections in the water. You just need an indication of them, and that's what we've got there. Is just a little indication using burnt umber, and I've dry brushed on some titanium white across the surface of that water just to make it look more sort of water-like. A little bit of titanium white worked into the ocean area, and a bit more detail on the bucket. And that's pretty much the finished painting, the Sandcastle Builders. And it's a pretty simple little painting. So feel free to use my reference photo here of the finished painting and have a go at this one yourself. I think you'll find it quite an enjoyable little painting. And if you just follow the steps we've just gone through, I think you'll find it pretty simple to be able to recreate something like this as well at home. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. And if you've enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about painting and particularly our approach to painting, then what I'd invite you to do is drop by freepaintingvideos.com, where if you pop your email address in, we'll send you via email a series of free painting videos with actual full painting demonstrations, and also going through all the basics and everything you need to know. So feel free to drop by there and grab a copy of those videos. And leave a comment here and let me know what your thoughts are on this video, whether it's helped you. So my name's Rod Moore from Moore Art School, and look forward to chatting with you all soon. Cheers.